if everything you know about death is wrong? In the ancient world, death was final. No second chances, no returns. No one came back. And yet, one story has refused to disappear. A man was executed publicly, brutally, undeniably. His body was placed inside a sealed tomb. A massive stone was rolled into place. Guards stood watch, and 3 days later, the tomb was empty. No body, no explanation. And for over 2,000 years, billions have come to the same conclusion. There is no reason to doubt that something extraordinary happened. To understand this story, we must begin not with belief, but with history. At the center of it all was Jesus Christ, a Jewish teacher, a preacher, a man who walked the dusty roads of first-century Judea. He was not a king, not a warrior, not a ruler of empires. And yet, crowds followed him. He spoke of love, of forgiveness, of a kingdom not of this world. He challenged authority. He disrupted expectations. And for that, he was sentenced to die. The method was crucifixion, a punishment designed not only to kill, but to break, to humiliate, to erase. Victims were nailed to wooden beams, left to suffocate slowly, their bodies collapsing under their own weight. The Roman Empire perfected it. When a man was crucified, he did not survive. Jesus Christ was scourged, beaten, mocked, a crown of thorns pressed into his head, a cross forced onto his back. He was led through the streets as crowds watched. Then came the execution, nails through his hands and his feet, hours of agony, and then silence. To ensure death, a Roman soldier pierced his side. There was no doubt he was dead. His body was taken down, wrapped, prepared, placed inside a tomb carved from stone. A massive rock sealed the entrance. Guards were posted. The story should have ended there, like so many others. Forgotten, buried, gone, but it didn't. On the third day, something happened. At dawn, women approached the tomb, not to witness a miracle, but to mourn, to complete burial rituals, to say goodbye. And what they found changed everything. The stone was moved, the tomb was open, and the body was gone. At first, confusion, then fear, and then something even stranger. Claims began to spread. Not whispers, but bold declarations. They said they had seen him alive. Not once, not briefly, but again and again. 2 individuals, 2 groups, 2 followers who had been hiding in fear just days before. Men who had run now stood in public, proclaiming the impossible. And here is where the story becomes impossible to ignore. These were not powerful men. They had nothing to gain, no wealth, no status, no protection. What they gained was persecution, imprisonment, torture, execution, and yet they did not deny it, not one of them. So what happened over the centuries? Many have tried to explain it. Some say the body was stolen, but by whom? Terrified followers who had already fled. And if they had taken it, why die for something they knew was a lie? Others say it was hallucination, grief, shock, emotional trauma. But hallucinations do not appear to groups. They do not repeat. They do not convince hundreds. Some say the wrong tomb was visited, but authorities could have ended everything instantly by producing the body. But they didn't. There is the explanation that has endured for 2,000 years, simple, yet overwhelming, that Jesus Christ did not remain in the tomb, that he rose for those who believe. This is not just a story, it is the foundation of everything. The moment death was defeated, the moment history changed. And even for those who question, the impact is undeniable, because something transformed a small group of frightened followers into a movement that would change the world within decades. The message spread across the Roman Empire. Despite persecution, despite violence, despite death, men and women chose suffering over silence, chose death over denial, and today billions still believe, not without reason. Because when faced with the evidence, the alternatives fall short. The empty tomb remains a mystery or a miracle, depending on who you ask. But one question still echoes through history. If nothing happened, why did everything change? Empires have fallen, civilizations have vanished, but this story endures, and even now it demands an answer. Was it legend? Was it faith? Or was it something far more real than we are willing to admit? Because if the resurrection is true, then death is not the end, and the world is not what we think it is. And it has never truly been closed. So now the question is, what do you believe? A miracle or a mystery?